Hi, welcome to Talking Class with Roland-ish. I'm Matt. In this video, we're going to talk about all the features you get when playing a Barbarian levels 1 through 20. So if you're looking to play a Barbarian utilizing 5.5e or the 2024 Player's Handbook, this video is for you. There's going to be another video that is going to break down the Barbarian subclasses, which you can choose when you reach level 3. So keep an eye out for that. Let's dive into the Barbarian. The Barbarian's primary ability is going to be strength, because you are a fierce warrior. You also can take a punch. Your hit die is the highest out of all the classes at a d12. This means anytime you level up, you're going to roll that d12 and add your constitution modifier and add that to your health. Now, if your DM is kind like me, they'll allow you to take half if you roll less than half. If you roll higher than half or higher than a 6, that's what you get. Some DMs are brutal, and if you roll a 1, that's what you have. And those DMs ought to be fired. Your saving throw proficiencies are going to be strength and constitution. Naturally, because the way I just described the Barbarian, you need to be strong and need to be able to take a hit because you're the primary damage dealer. You're going to be the driving force in melee combat. So these are going to be your best 2 saving throws. But a Barbarian is also in tune with nature. They spend a lot of their time outdoors. You can build on that in your backstory. But as you build your Barbarian, you get to choose 2 of these skills to have proficiency in. This means your modifier is going to be a little bit higher than your ability score would indicate. And the options you can choose from are animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, and survival. As far as weapons are concerned, you can use simple and martial weapons, which is pretty much everything a Barbarian would use. For armor, you could wear light and medium armor. Depending on what it is, it's going to have a base. And then your armor class would include +2 at a max from your dexterity bonus. Odds are you may not wear armor at all, and we'll get into that in a moment. But you also have proficiency in shields, so if you want to hold a shield, you can. It'll add 2 to your armor class if you do that. To start out, the equipment you would have is a great axe, 4 hand axes, which can be thrown, so that could be your ranged weapon, and an explorer's pack, which is going to have things like torches, rations, your water skin, bedroll, stuff like that, and 15 gold to start. Or forget all of that, take 75 gold to start and buy your starting equipment. Just work with your DM on this. Oftentimes we'll just use the equipment that is listed in the player's handbook with the prices that are there. So, but maybe your DM is going to be generous and lighten the price up a little bit. I would. Anywho, let's talk about what you get in some of those features. Now, this is a table that is in the player's handbook that breaks things down visually, so you can see at what levels does your character grow. So you could see at level 1, you start out with a proficiency bonus of 2, but it increases to 3 at level 5, increases to 4 at level 9, increases to 5 at level 13, increases to 6 at level 17. This is going to impact things like your rolls for like hit and damage and things like that that are added, or the skills that you're proficient in, or the saving throws that you're proficient in. As the proficiency bonus grows, so do those modifiers. Makes sense. Same thing could be said about your rage damage, and your weapon mastery. Now, rages, you get rage. It's one of the features you get at level 1. We'll talk about that. But you start with 2 of them to use. But as you level up, they grow to a max of 6. When you're raging, you deal a little bit of extra damage. It's called rage damage. You add that to the damage when you hit something. So at level 1, it's a +2. And that increases as we go along. It's a +3 at level 9. It's a +4 at level 16. Weapon mastery, you can have many weapons, but you can only have mastery active on 2 of them. Mastery is something the weapon can do in addition to the damage when you hit. Certain things might be able to topple or knock something prone. Certain ones might cause a little bit more damage. You start out with 2 weapons available to have that active on, but that grows as you do too, up to a max of 4, which kicks in at level 10. So let's talk about all these other features that you get. At level 1, you start out with Rage. Now, your turn consists of an action, a bonus action, and movement, should you choose to use those. As a bonus action, Barbarians can enter Rage. Oftentimes in combat, this is probably what you want to do first. Start your first turn, bonus action Rage, because remember, while raging, you get a rage damage bonus. So rage first, then attack. There's other things that rage does, though. While you're raging, you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. That means if you take any of those, you half it. You half the damage. Also, when you make an attack with a strength weapon or an unarmed strike, which is like a headbutt, an elbow, a punch, a knee, a kick, something like that with your body, and you deal damage to the target, you get that rage damage I was talking about. You also get advantage on strength checks, like the athletics skill, or strength saving throws, like someone's trying to push you or grapple you and you want to break it away or avoid it. A strength saving throw is one that you could make. You would have advantage while raging. If you're thinking about multi-classing at some point during your campaign and want to use spells, know that you cannot cast spells while raging. It's one or the other here. If you cast a spell first and are concentrating on it, some spells require concentration, and then you enter your rage, you break concentration and you end that spell. Your rage is taking up all of your adrenaline, all of your energy, all of your focus, and that is why. The duration of your rage is meant to last until the end of your next turn. So if you rage right now first on your first turn, we're using our rage for our first turn and then our second turn, and then it ends at the end of our next turn, right? Great. You can extend it. Here's how. You can extend it a turn by making an attack roll against an enemy, or forcing an enemy to make a saving throw, or you use your bonus action on that next turn to extend it another round. Okay. It also can end early, and that happens if you don heavy armor. Again, you can't wear heavy armor, you're not proficient, but let's say you took a feat like Heavy Armor Master allows you to wear heavy armor. The second you put that on, your rage is going to end. So don't wear it. Or if you have the incapacitated condition. Obviously, if you're knocked out, you're not raging anymore. But those are the other benefits that you have for your rage. Each time you extend your rage, it's going to extend to the end of the next turn. And you can maintain it this way for 10 minutes. So each round is 6 seconds. So that is a lot of turns. All right. Let's talk about unarmored defense. When you're not wearing armor, your base armor class is 10 plus your strength modifier plus your constitution modifier. Now remember, as a barbarian, those are your two highest. These are likely your two highest ability scores. So somewhere in there, you're going to end up with an armor class maybe between 14 and 17. That's excellent for not wearing any armor. So you can picture your barbarian being like thick-skinned or really tough. Now, the second you put on armor, whether it's light, medium, or heavy, your base is that armor's base. So for, I think, leather, it's like 11. All right, 11 plus your dex modifier. That's your armor class. Now, your two highest are probably strength and constitution. So what's your third highest? Your dexterity. Is it a +1? A +2 maybe? So if I'm taking leather armor, 11 plus 2 is 13. Or I use unarmored defense, 10 plus my strength modifier plus my constitution modifier. I'm probably like 15 or 16. See where I'm going with this? Earlier in your career as a barbarian, lower levels, unarmored defense is great. Now, if you take feats along the way and you want to give your barbarian some armor, have at it. Early on, though, unarmored defense is enough. You also unlock weapon mastery. And you use the mastery on two kinds of simple or martial weapons of your choice, like great axes and hand axes that you get in your starting equipment. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can practice weapon drills to change that weapon. So let's say you found a warhammer, or you bought a warhammer or a new sword and you really want to use it, but you already have your weapon mastery on your axe and your hand axe. What do? Well, when you finish your long rest, role play some practice time and change your mastery over to that new weapon. You can do that at long rests. At level 2, you get something called danger sense. You have like a heightened awareness. So if you're going to get ambushed or something, you get advantage on a dex saving throw unless you're incapacitated. So if you're in combat and something requires you to make a dexterity saving throw, like a wizard throwing fireball, you get advantage on that. It's like you sense it before it's happening. That's why you have advantage. You also get something called reckless attack. Now this is great. When you make your first attack roll, you can decide to attack recklessly. By doing so, you get advantage on those attack rolls that use strength until the start of your next turn. Now, that use strength, all your weapons likely are going to be strength-based weapons. So you're getting attack rolls, you're getting advantage on your attack rolls. Here's the caveat though. When you use reckless, your enemy is going to have advantage on attack rolls against you during that time. Because you're reckless. You're so focused on your task at hand, that you're leaving yourself exposed. Okay? That's what that means. Now, at level 2, you only have 1 attack, but at level 5, you get extra attack. So when you take the attack action, you get 2 swings. So Reckless really gets handy there, because when you do it on your first attack roll, you get advantage on all those rolls, your first and your second. So it's a good way to like increase your chances of hitting your target. At level 3, you get to pick your subclass. And in the player's handbook, you have 4 options: the Berserker, the Wild Heart, the World Tree, or the Zealot. And again, there's going to be a separate video, Barbarian subclasses, where we're going to break these down and tell you what you get with each. But you also get Primal Knowledge. This is really interesting. While raging, and you need to make a skill check that uses a different ability, you can use Strength instead, because that's probably your highest ability modifier. Now, in practicality, let me explain. There is a list here that you can change. Acrobatics is a dexterity-based skill. Intimidation is charisma. Perception is wisdom. Stealth is dexterity, fingers and hands. Survival is wisdom. So these use those modifiers. But what Primal Knowledge does is allows you to use your Strength modifier for all of them, increasing your likelihood of a success because you have Primal Knowledge. But Matt, my Barbarian's like 6'6". How is he gonna or she gonna stealth? I don't know. How's a 3-foot halfling stealth? Probably the same way. Just because he's 6'6". Maybe they blend in with the foliage around them. Maybe they blend in the shadows of that dungeon. At level 4, you get an ability score improvement or a feat. The ability score improvement, you can do +2 to 1 skill or +1 to 2 skills. Keep in mind, though, and think about this, each time your ability score hits an even number, that modifier is going to go up. For example, at a 16 strength score, your modifier is a +3. At a 17 strength score, it's still a +3. But when I get it to go to the next even number, like 18, my strength modifier is now a +4. And I've just increased my strength saving throw as a result, because that's based off my strength score. I've just increased my athletics skill check modifier because that is strength based also. See what I mean? If you're going to take the ability score improvement, know that the modifier will go up when you reach the next even number in the score. So if you're going to do it here at level 4 and you're going to land on an odd number, that doesn't mean don't do it. Just know that when this opportunity comes up again at level 8, 12, and 16, you might want to do a repeat to get that modifier even higher. Now, you could forego the ability score modifier and take a heroic feat. Talk to your DM about that. Make sure it is allowed in your game. If so, heroic feats are pretty cool because they do different things. They allow you to do like a special move or a new ability or get increased modifiers. Some of them might be like, hey, add a +1 to this modifier and you get to do this. So there's special things that you can get and choose from. Again, talk to your DM about what's available and what's allowed. At level 5, I had already mentioned that you get extra attack. So when you take the attack action, you swing twice, not once. But you also get fast movement. This means your speed is going to increase by 10 feet if you're not wearing heavy armor. I don't know how many other times this is going to say when you're not wearing heavy armor. So maybe, don't wear it. At level 7, you get Feral Instinct. This means you get advantage on initiative rolls. Initiative rolls are what kicks off an encounter or a combat or maybe groups working on a puzzle. You get advantage on that. It's increasing your likelihood of going first because you have those honed instincts. Also at level 7, you get something called Instinctive Pounce. That means when you use the bonus action to initiate your rage, you could also move up to half your speed in that bonus action. Pretty sweet. At level 9, you get something called Brutal Strike. And a few things are happening here. When you use Reckless Attack, you can swing with advantage on those 2 attacks. We're at level 9, right? At level 5, you get those 2 attacks. You could forego advantage on one of those 2 attacks to inflict a Brutal Strike. What that means is you get an extra D10 of damage from the weapon that you used, and you can inflict one of the following options. Forceful Blow. It will push your target 15 feet straight away from you. Then you can move up to half your speed straight toward the target without provoking opportunity attacks. Matt, when would that present itself? Well, you might be surrounded or flanked or have several enemies within range. And when you hit that target with a forceful blow and you move it back 15 feet and you go chase after it, none of those people or enemies that are within range of you can make an opportunity attack. It helps you get out of that situation by creating an opening. It's a good way of putting it. You also have hamstring blow. This means when you use hamstring blow, you're going to hit them in the hamstring, which is behind your knee, and reduce their speed by 15 feet until the start of your next turn. A target can only be affected by one hamstring blow at a time. So if you do it 2 in a row, you're only going to get one to stick, the most recent one. Or if you do one and maybe an ally in your party does it after you, that one is the one that's going to stick. It's always the most recent. They do not stack, but I like where your head's at. At level 11, you get Relentless Rage. This means you keep fighting despite grievous wounds. If you drop to 0 hit points while your rage is active and you don't die outright, you make a DC 10, difficulty class of 10, Constitution saving throw. Got to roll a 10 or higher. If you succeed, your hit points instead change from 0 to a number equal to twice your Barbarian level. So at a level 9, when this begins, it's 22 hit points right off the bat. The key word here in this Relentless Rage is while your rage is active and you don't die outright. Dying outright could be something like a spell that kills, power word kill. There are others, like if Disintegrate reduces you to 0, you die and you disintegrate. You're not coming back. Or if you take damage to get you to 0 hit points and there's excess damage that exceeds your hit point max, you're dead. As long as that's not happening, Relentless Rage will kick in. Each time you use this feature, though, that difficulty class, the number you have to meet or beat, is going to increase by 5. So if you do this the first time, you got to roll a 10 or higher on the Constitution save. If it happens again before you long rest, it's going to be a difficulty of 15. A third time, 20, and so on. Now, once you take that long rest, this feature resets back to 10, which is nice. At level 13, you get Improved Brutal Strike. This means, in addition to Forceful Blow or Hamstring Blow, you get new options. And their Staggering Blow is the first one. The target would have disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes, and it can't make opportunity attacks until the start of your next turn. So if you've got a teammate that is coming after you, or maybe that wizard who is dying to throw Fireball, that requires a saving throw, set them up by hitting a Staggering Blow. Increase the chances of that target failing so your teammate can succeed. There's also Sundering Blow. Before the start of your next turn, the next attack roll made by another creature against your target gains a +5 bonus to that roll. Now, an attack roll can only gain 1 Sundering Blow bonus. These do not stack either. Now, at higher levels, most Wizards of the Coast campaigns, the ones that D&D writes and puts out, they kind of end somewhere between 8 and level 13-ish. Vecna Eve of Ruin is an exception. It goes all the way to 20. But some other third-party campaigns or even your own homebrew could go further. This is level 15 and beyond. Just know that going in. If you're running something, talk to your DM. Find out what level are we going up to. It'll help you make your decisions. But if you are playing at higher levels, the Barbarian gets even cooler. At level 15, you get Persistent Rage. When you roll initiative, you regain all expended uses of rage. So let's say on this adventuring day, you fought earlier, and you used a rage or two, and you short rested, and you traveled, and now there's a new encounter. If you've expended all use of your rage, Persistent Rage kicks in. Once you roll that initiative, you get them all back. In addition, it now lasts for 10 minutes without you needing to do anything to extend it round to round. Now, up until levels 1 through 14, you weren't getting that. You'd have to either attack something, make something, roll a saving throw, or use a bonus action. Not here. It's going to last for 10 minutes unless you end that rage early by being unconscious or donning heavy armor. Get it out of your head. Don't don heavy armor. Level 17, Improved Brutal Strike. Remember, you got Brutal Strike. You've got Forceful Blow, Hamstring Blow, Staggering Blow, Sundering Blow. Don't forget, with those, you get an extra d10 of damage. Here at level 17, it becomes 2d10 of damage extra. At level 18, you get Indomitable Might. If your total strength check, like athletics, or your saving throw is less than your strength score, you can use that as your roll. So let me elaborate this. Let's say you have a strength score of 18. If you roll lower than an 18 on that strength-based skill check, or on the strength saving throw, anything under that becomes your score, increasing the likelihood of you succeeding in strength-based stuff. Because you're a level 18, you probably would be. You're near lesser deity at this point. At level 19, you get an epic boon. These are in chapter 5 of your player's handbook. There's some options you can take there. Just like the other feats, the epic boon feats are more and cooler. At level 20, you become primal champion. This means your strength and constitution scores both increase by 4 each. Even if they're maxed out at 20, your new max is now 25 on those. So you can accommodate those 4 points. Pretty awesome. That's what you get playing a barbarian. That's what you can expect levels 1 through 20, regardless of your subclass. Now, if you want a breakdown of what you get through levels within the subclasses, check out that video. It's called Barbarian Subclasses. It too will be in our Talking Class playlist on our YouTube. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. It really helps us grow as a channel and put it in front of more eyes. Please comment. Let us know what you like as far as these levels are concerned, or let us know if you want us to talk about something else, and we'd be happy to accommodate. Until such time, have fun playing your barbarian, and we'll see you at the table.